Hey everyone, welcome to a 2012 Mercedes-Benz S550 4MATIC. So this is the all-wheel drive version of the beautiful S-Class. Before we begin this drive, I first wanted to thank First International Auto Group here in Merrimack, New Hampshire for letting me this car. We do a lot of cars for them and they're of all really high quality. So please take a moment to check them out. Their link to their website is in the description below. Let's go take a look outside of the car before it starts raining. So this S-Class is finished in iridium silver metallic, which is a beautiful color for these cars. We have 18-inch 5-spoke AMG wheels here. They're quite beautiful. And then of course, not to mention our Crown Mercedes logo here at the front of the hood. Over here on the side, you can see this vehicle is quite long at 206 inches, which is actually longer than a brand new Toyota Sienna. And then in the back here, we finish off the wonderful styling with these dual exhaust pipes. So getting into these back seats is quite an easy feat, considering these S-Classes are often used as chauffeur vehicles. As you can see in the back, we have these sunshades, which you can block out all your haters. I can even control the one on that side, so if I'm just a single passenger in this car, I don't have to reach over there. Nice charge port, you can plug your phone in here. We have vents. So we also have this center console that comes right out. And in here we have our Mercedes-Benz first aid kit. So last thing to mention about this lovely interior and this back seat is we have these nice little floor lights for my feet. So trunk space, we have plenty here. We have our spare tire under here, and then we have some all-weather mats. And this closes just at the push of a button. So this Mercedes-Benz S550 features a twin-charged 4.6-liter V8, making 429 horsepower and 512 pound-feet of torque. Quite a lot of torque for this big S-Class. And so of course this one is weighted at just above 4,800 pounds. So obviously this Mercedes S-Class is quite comfortable, especially due to the air suspension in here. So we have aromatic suspension, which has front and rear independent controls, and adaptive damping, which kind of eases that body roll on cornering and gives you a luxurious ride. And so we also have this infotainment screen here. It basically just has nav and a bunch of vehicle settings, but we currently have it off. To power it on, you can just kind of wiggle the wheel down here and it shows you all your settings. So this S-Class does feel quite large and the steering is really light, but overall you can feel that it's a big vehicle and you're carrying a lot of weight. However, thankfully, we have this wonderful V8. Which obviously has a lot of power, 429 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque. We have adequate amounts of power to handle that 4,800 pound curb weight. But when you're just kind of cruising around, it's very quiet. It doesn't really rumble until you get above, 3,000 or 4,000 RPMs, and otherwise you really wouldn't know it's there. I feel like the 7-speed automatic uses the power really well and kind of keeps things quiet until you need it to be loud. So the steering wheel is this lovely brown, like glossed over wood. It's really cool. It feels light in your hands, but we also have like some leather on the sides. It's probably the nicest steering wheel I've ever felt in my entire life. So on the steering wheel, we also have pretty basic controls such as your horn. You have a voice command button here, and you also can control some settings in your digital gauge cluster here. You also can hang up and, dial calls, especially using the little buttons down here, the little phone buttons. So we also have cruise control, which you can use this little stalk to control. We also have our wipers and turn signals connected to one turn stalk down here. And of course, last but not least, we have paddle shifters. So you could do a quick, 1-2 downshift. Use that power and, do a quick upshift. And the transmission is really responsive to your feedback. So as I said before, this air suspension just handles bumps really well, as you'd expect it to. As long as that air suspension is working, it's going to soak up all the bumps and give you basically the perfect ride. So although these seats aren't absolutely in perfect condition because of course this is a 12-year-old car. They're still quite luxurious. They feel really comfortable. They're 14-way adjustable. These front and the front passenger, both the front seats here have heat and cooling. So we have dual climate control here in the front. You can control it with these luxurious little knobs right here. They have a nice kind of click to them. You might not be able to hear it too much on the GoPro, but trust me that every button in this car is made with the absolute care and mind that it's going to a consumer who, number one, has a lot of money, and number two, enjoys the finer things. So we also have this nice little analog clock here, which is a nice touch to this interior. You kind of see that a lot in Porsches as well. Let's see how this S-Class can handle the worst road in Merrimack. So yep, better. So just as I suspected, it handled it basically better than any other car on this channel. The air suspension just soaks up all those bumps so easily. And yes, you still get a little bit of roll here and there, but overall, with that road being that bumpy, we didn't feel maybe 90% of the impact that some of the other cars on this channel have. So popping this car into reverse, our side mirror moves down, kind of shows you some view on your wheels, and we obviously have this pretty nice backup camera for 2012. Of course, you know, there's some rain on it right now. So we have two drive modes in this Mercedes-Benz S550. We have Sport and Eco, and then the suspension has a Comfort and a Sport setting. Right now I am in Sport, but if I wanted to, I could just switch it over to Eco. And for fuel economy, I mean, you're not gonna get great numbers here. This S550 averages 15 city and is rated for 24 on the highway. Although I was checking back on some of the fuel consumption numbers on the screen here, and people in this car have seen upwards of 30. I'm very impressed with the power numbers here. Obviously this 4.6 liter twin charge V8 is just gonna give you all the power you desire and move this big sedan at quite a fast rate. We have a 0 to 60 time quoted at 5.4 seconds. So this 2012 Mercedes-Benz S550 4MATIC is listed on the First International Auto Group site at $17,777. Of course, just under the $18,000 mark, and you know, this one here only has 89,000 miles on it, so not a bad deal. You know, you see a lot of these older S-Classes driving around and you wonder how they kind of hold up, and this is probably the nicest one I've seen as far as interior and exterior condition. I'm just so impressed with the power of this car. I can't believe how fast one of these things can pick up. It's just so crazy that a almost 5,000 pound sedan can, you know, move at this rate. So as far as visibility and driver's position, I feel like this S-Class really can't go wrong. We have these gorgeous large windows, obviously with the back having these sunshades, which is funny. And we just have tons of visibility in this car, even out the rear with the sloped styling it has. And whether you're the owner of the car or a chauffeur, you're gonna have quite a nice time driving this S-Class. So to kind of wrap up my review here, this S-Class is in wonderful shape. Obviously, it being just below $18,000, I feel like you're getting, you know, quite a lot of car for that price. I mean, over 400 horsepower, over 500 pound-feet of torque. You have just tons of options such as these awesome Harman Kardon speakers, keyless entry, push button start, this nice little moonroof here, and of course the wonderful massage seats with heat and cooling for you and your front passenger. So one thing to note about the telephone and the little controls here is that you actually have this integration is supposed to go via Bluetooth to your phone. So the idea is that you hook up via Bluetooth and you can control your phone and make calls with these little buttons here below. It's actually kind of an interesting thought. You know, it doesn't have a built-in phone, but of course you can kind of make your phone the integrated phone to this car. So as far as dynamics, you know, obviously these S-classes are built for comfort rather than sport, but I feel like with the sports suspension setup and the sport mode and these paddle shifters, you can have quite a fun time with this car. You know, maybe give it like a catless back exhaust system and just kind of hear this thing roar. You can have lots of fun, even with this car being 206 inches long and, you know, 4,800 pounds. So to wrap up my review, if you're looking for a beautiful S-Class such as this one, definitely check out First International Auto Group here in Merrimack, New Hampshire. The one thing that you obviously have to keep in mind with these S-Classes is the maintenance with the air suspension. You want to make sure that that is all sorted before you buy one of these, and maybe have some money set aside to fix it when it does go out. But needless to say, if you keep this car running, you're a good person for it, because these things are just absolutely so much fun. They're good looking exterior, they have a wonderful interior, and they're just a blast to drive. So with that being said, please leave your comments below. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye.